Hi, Professor Wainaina here, your 5 minutes teacher on education, childhood, youth, parenting, and all things school. Welcome. Asking whether school educated or brainwashed you may sound like a provocative question. One might feel uncomfortable at first, but it deserves your attention. Think about it. What you learned in school wasn't an open canvas of ideas where you were encouraged to explore, challenge, and disagree. It was a neatly packaged syllabus handed to you as the definitive truth with nothing to disagree with. The version of education demands compliance, not curiosity, and trains you to accept what is given rather than question why it was chosen. Does that sound like education, or does it feel like conditionings? And let's unravel this. Knowledge in its true form is vast, chaotic, and full of contradiction. Open any subject, history, science, or literature, and you will find a range of perspectives, each woven with its own bias, agenda, or cultural lens. Take history, for example. Mau Mau in British history is a terrorist organization. For others, it is a liberation nationalist movement. The position you take depends on which version of history you read. Schools don't often present such matters for you to grapple with. Instead, they hand you a polished narrative, omitting the messy controversies that make knowledge dynamic and alive. This manipulated version of learning isn't accidental. Every syllabus represents a selection, a deliberate choice about what is included and what is left out. But have you ever been told by those choices or by the people who made those choices why those choices were made? Were you invited to question the process that determined what landed on your desk? Of course not. That would disrupt the tidy efficiency of schooling. Yet, this is precisely where education should begin, with the recognition that what you are learning is only a perspective, not the perspective. Consider science, often presented as a realm of absolute truths. While the scientific method is rigorous, the conclusions drawn from it are provisional, meant to be tested, refined, and occasionally revised. Think of the debate around nutrition. Fats were once vilified, then redeemed. Sugar went from harmless indulgence to a public enemy. Did your biology classes teach you to see science as a field of shifting understandings, or was it delivered as a set of accepted facts? For most of us who have gone to school, the answer is the latter. You are not being educated, you are being brainwashed. There is a huge difference between true education and the brainwashing that often passes for education. Education invites interrogation. It thrives on your questions and challenges. Brainwashing, on the other hand, feeds you answers and discourages dissent. While education encourages exploration and adaptation, brainwashing enforces rote memorization and discourages questioning. Where education seeks to illuminate truths through open dialogue, brainwashing demands absorption of pre-absorbed knowledge. While true education encourages individuality and critical thought, brainwashing discourages individual thought, suppresses creativity, and imposes conformity. Where education thrives on curiosity and discovery, brainwashing reduces learning to obedience and mechanical repetition, molding minds to fit a predetermined mold than empowering them to shape their own. If these contrasts sound uncomfortably familiar, don't despair. Awareness that you might have been brainwashed rather than educated is your first step towards reclaiming your independent thought. Begin by questioning everything. To recognize and avoid continued brainwashing, you must ask yourself hard questions. Who benefits from this idea? Am I allowed to disagree? Am I encouraged to think critically or pressured into accepting conclusions? Does the message welcome alternatives? Does it oversimplify complex issues into black and white answers? Only by questioning can you avoid brainwashing. And don't stop there. Engage with people who think differently from you. Read broadly, especially outside the boundaries of what you are supposed to know and ideas that you agree with. Realize that every truth is part of a larger, messier conversation, and your job is to join in the interrogation, not to parrot back what you've been told or what you've been taught. Unlike brainwashing, education is not about absorbing answers. It's about mastering the art of asking the right questions. School may have failed to teach you this, but the world is an open classroom if you choose to see it that way. Remember that the most dangerous form of education is where you cannot question what you know. In fact, it should not be called education. It's called brainwashing. Thank you for your time. See you in the next lesson.